As a country, Britain spends more than £200 billion a year on food and drink.
But a staggering £12.5 billion of that is wasted.
Goodness me, that looks prehistoric.
And with British food prices rising for the first time in 2 years, there's never been a more important time to save money and make your food go further.
We're going to show families who are struggling to cut back on their food spend how to save money by shopping clever.
Wow, bargain.
Cooking smarter.
Boom.
That looks amazing.
You actually know what you're talking about.
And wasting less.
What do you think about leftover food, Archie?
I like it now.
Without scrimping on taste.
I'll be investigating our shopping and spending habits.
It's effectively chucking money away.
And putting super cheap food to the test.
28 pence per jar.
No.
And I'll be delivering delicious meals for all the family for under a fiver.
Tonight, we're coming to the aid of a family who cook oversized portions but are clueless when it comes to what to do with their leftovers.
If it's not eaten, throw it away.
I'll be putting prosciutto to the super cheap food taste test and revealing just how to get the most for your money on the high street.
This is Save Money, Good Food.
In the UK, we waste £4.1 billion worth of food annually due to cooking oversized portions. And with so much food going in the bin, that's money we could be getting back in the bank with some thriftier cooking. One family whose portion sizes are getting the better of their wallets are the Harveys.
Oh, look at that.
Hard-working Nottinghamshire barbers Irene and Sean and their two lively little ones. 6-year-old Remy and 4-year-old Eliana. The Harveys have always been passionate about their food.
We are food lovers. It's the Greek Cypriot in me. And Sean being from the Caribbean as well. We love our food.
Who's the best cook, darling?
Mummy!
Oh, okay.
Mummy's the best cooker.
Irene and Sean's love of food has clearly rubbed off on their kids.
Plain things like chips and potatoes, they're not that mad about. But if I give them a hot, spicy Caribbean soup, they'll love it.
Irene wants her family to be well-fed, but gets carried away with portion sizes, cooking far more than the 4 of them can eat.
Part of the Greek culture, Cypriot culture, is to cook for lots of people. So I do overcook simply because I don't like to run out of food and I like everybody to be nice and full.
And Irene's not alone. Our survey showed that more than a third of us say we cook too much food per meal, some of which will inevitably lead to food waste. Of course, there's nothing wrong with overcooking if you put the leftovers to good use, but this family just don't.
With our leftovers, they get thrown away and wasted. We usually waste about £30 every week. A little bit of inspiration as to how we can adapt our meal times will be great.
I don't like buying food and freezing it because I think that when you do cook it, eventually, it's never quite the same, so it will get thrown away. I try my best, actually, to eat everyone's food that's left over, but even I can't manage it, all the time.
The Harveys are keen to cut down on their waste, spice up their daily dishes and save money. So now it's time to see the problems for ourselves. We've got hold of their house keys, and while the family are out, Matt and I are going to have a snoop around to see how we can help.
What's in these drawers? Plenty of them. Ah, found the bin. Get the gloves on.
You get all the best jobs.
There's lots of cooked food in here. Last night's leftovers, perhaps.
Now, here, peppers.
Okay.
They're eating healthily, but they're not eating it all up.
More than 800,000 tonnes of veg and salad is thrown away each year, all of it avoidable and costly.
Whoa, there's a lot of milk.
What else have we got? More peppers, loads of cheese, loads of Greek stuff here.
There's hummus here, there's tzatziki. How'd you say that?
Tatsiki.
Tzatziki.
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 Say it quickly, nobody knows.
How do I say it? Tzatziki.
Tatsiki.
I say tzatziki.
Oh, well, it's all Greek, innit?
Let's have a look in the freezer.
Okay.
Right, here's a family that likes
Some
Ice cream.
ice cream.
They're not freezing their leftovers, so they're either using up their leftovers
Yeah.
or they're just chucking them in the bin.
Right, we know what we're dealing with, so now we've got some work to do.
Yes, we have, Matt. Well, more like you do. Your mission this week is to feed a family of 4 who cook like they're feeding an army. We need 3 filling meals for under a £5 that will also show them how to be portion size savvy and love their leftovers. Got that?
Got it.
And we've not got long until the family return.
OK, I'm going to cook from their cupboards and use food destined for the bin to make Greek-inspired Mediterranean feta and black olive stuffed peppers. And I'm also going to rustle up my version of pesto pasta, using veg past its best and perfect portions of spaghetti. First, cut up 1 courgette and an onion. Add a glug of oil, and in go the onions and some seasoning. Once browned, add the chopped courgette with half a teaspoon of cinnamon and a tablespoon of tomato puree. Right, my mince is going in. I'm using 200 grams of mince for 4. But now for the star ingredient, unloved peppers at the bottom of the fridge.
There's plenty of things that you can stuff your peppers with, aren't there?
They are vehicles for flavour. And they got this handy skin which holds all that juices and everything in there. It's delicious.
They're also great for stuffing leftovers into. Cooked rice, chilli, and bolognese will taste revamped and revived. Right, that's it. They go in the oven about 180, about 15 minutes.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, right, on with the olives.
There's no real point in going for speciality olives with all the other flavours going on in this dish. Cheap ones will do. Throw the olives into the mince. The peppers have been in for about 15 minutes now. They're softening up nicely. Stuff the peppers and crumble feta over the top. Then return to the oven for 5 minutes and we've got a tasty dish using up all the excess peppers the Harveys have lying around. Move on. Next, the pesto pasta, which will help with portion control. It's a great staple for any family with kids. And my version uses up leftover veg and cheap ingredients. Even the broccoli stalks get used. Grate some garlic. I'm just going to grate that down just to break it down a touch. And put the broccoli and the garlic into the food processor, along with 40 grams of almonds.
Matt's using almonds in place of the pine nuts, which are traditionally found in pesto, and they're more than 55% cheaper.
Add grated cheddar and oil. OK, lid on and blitz.
As a country, we waste £43 million worth of pasta each year. We're getting our portion sizes completely wrong because it swells so much in the cooking process. How do you measure your portions?
Through experience, you'd look at that and you'd get a feel for it and you say, OK, I know that that is 1 portion. However, there's a school of thought that says that this hole at the bottom of your pasta draining tool isn't just for draining water, it's also for measuring pasta. So the idea being is that you would shove that through there. It's about the same size. So again, that's 1 portion pasta.
That's a really useful tip.
Let's cook it.
When cooked, add to the sauce. Also, you don't have to use broccoli. You could use kale, spinach or green beans. So that one dish alone could potentially use up a lot of leftover veg and feed a very happy family.
This midweek meal, made entirely with food from the kitchen, came in at £4.26 for the lot. And just in time. Hello! I'm sure the Harveys will be surprised to find out we've had a rummage around in their kitchen cupboards and the bin.
Dive in, guys. Help yourself. So these are stuffed peppers. We noticed there's quite a lot of pasta. Kind of made our own pesto.
It tastes 1,000 times better than the stuff that I would normally use.
These peppers are to die for.
Is that all right?
They're delish.
Good.
Do you sometimes find you have way more food than you can eat?
I just like to cook enough so that if they want seconds, they can have seconds.
Yeah.
Leftovers generally get thrown away.
Really?
Yeah.
Bad.
I know. Anything that's more than a couple of days old,
Wow.
I'm not really that interested in because to me it doesn't seem to be fresh after that period.
Wow.
I don't like things that have been thawed out and defrosted. And...
See, this is your issue, isn't it? You don't like the leftovers.
No.
You don't want to freeze that food.
No.
So perhaps finding out some new ideas for using up the food that you're currently chucking away, getting rid of your freezer phobia, which
Definitely.
is interfering with the leftovers.
Absolutely it is.
How much money do you think you waste in leftovers?
Between £30 and £45.
Really?
Yeah.
That much?
Yeah, that's a lot of money, really.
The Harveys' average meal spend is £11.20, with overcooking contributing towards the cost.
My meal was well under half that at £4.26. How do you like that, Sean?
So
Look at Sean's face.
Come on. No, I'm not coming up.
More importantly, Matt, it doesn't look like there'll be any leftovers. And you used up peppers destined for the bin.
And how much do you think you spend on food at the supermarket?
100 to 120 a week.
It sounds like a lot.
And having investigated their receipts, they're actually spending an average of £145 a week on food.
But the big thing is the wastage.
If you're wasting £30 of food per week, that works out at £1,500 over the course of the year. That's a lot of money that you could be saving. We want to help you crack down on the amount of food you're wasting, deal with portion control, and also help you with your leftovers.
Well, Matt, the Harveys clearly loved our first meal, so they must have discerning taste buds, much like visitors to foodie favourite Greenwich Market. With the current explosion of choice when it comes to budget food, if we're going to shop super cheap, which of the bargain brands gives us the best flavour for our buck? So far, we've tested the nation's staples, but it's time to see how the more luxury foods fare in the super cheap stakes. Today, it's the turn of prosciutto, and we're testing the lowest priced supermarket offerings we could find to see which of the budget three is best. Premium supermarket packets cost between £3.50 and £5 per 100 grams. The first of our cheap alternatives is Lidl at £1.45 per 100 grams.
Right, what do you think?
I thought it would be a bit saltier than that.
Tasteless, doesn't really have a slight salty taste, but that's about it.
Tasty, it's got a good bite to it.
Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed.
It's not too salty.
Next up, it's Aldi at the same price, £1.45 per 100 grams.
It feels like there's more to it, you know? It's a thicker cut. It's a little bit less salty than A. I would agree it's less salty.
A better taste, but quite chewy.
I prefer that one.
B is less salty and it has got definitely more flavour.
Finally, Asda's offering a touch more expensive at £1.50 per 100 grams.
It's got the right level of salt in it.
Okay.
Chewier than the others.
C is, again, yeah, like a little bit saltier, and that's not really with my preference.
Having tasted all three, we asked our testers which they preferred.
C's got my vote. It's got the nicest taste and the right texture.
C, your favourite, is from Asda. It's £1.50 for 100 grams.
My favourite has to be B.
B, £1.45 at Aldi.
Whoa. I'm pleasantly surprised at how nice they were for £1.45.
B. B is from Aldi. Does it make you think about what you can get for the lowest possible cost?
Yes, value for money is good by me.
Aldi came out on top, with half our testers picking it as their favourite. And at only £1.45 per 100 grams, it shows that you can have luxury food without the luxury price tag. With food prices on the rise, it may come as no surprise that bargain food stores are booming. But around a fifth of us say we're actually wary about buying food super cheap. The two current biggest super cheap brands are Lidl and Aldi. They originally hit the UK high streets in the early 90s, and in the last quarter, both have recorded market share growth, while three of the big four supermarkets have seen their share fall. But just how the super cheap stores keep their costs so low comes down to what they do in store. The simple no-frills layout of the store means there are fewer overheads, and with some products having multiple barcodes on their packages, this ensures a speedy checkout with fewer staff, and the saving is passed directly to customers by way of lower-cost items. These sometimes include Wiggig deals, limited-time offers that get customers through the doors, offering luxury items at rock-bottom prices. But you need to be quick, as when it's gone, it's gone. But the big saver is limited choice, as they stock almost exclusively own-brand goods bought in bulk at lower cost. So there's also less temptation for customers to be swayed by big brand offerings at higher prices. The rise of super cheap has led to all the major supermarkets also piling in on the price war with their own bargain lines and brands. So there's never been a better time to shop smart and save money on good food. Back in Nottinghamshire, we're helping the Harveys with their food spend, showing them how to slash the price of their midweek meals to under a fiver. They currently spend £11.20 on an average meal, and we want to more than halve that with some thrifty cooking.
Hopefully they'll be impressed with the next dish, as I think the leftovers taste even better than the first time around. I just hope I can convince Dad.
Matt's enlisting 6-year-old Remy to be his sous chef.
So we're going to do a little fish and lentil curry.
Chop 1 onion, ginger, and separated coriander stalks. No waste here, Susanna.
Pleased to hear it.
Next, grate a lime, add star anise, chopped onion, and garlic to a heated pan, and then fry for 5 minutes. Add chili powder and turmeric, and the finely chopped coriander stalks. In goes Remy's lime zest, and lentils, which will help satisfy the hungriest of tummies.
It's a good filler, you know, and they're very cheap.
Chuck in a fish stock cube and enough water to cover the ingredients. And now for the main attraction, the fish.
So often the cheapest fish you can buy is a bag of frozen fish fillets, but it's also a good source of protein, and it's also frozen at sea, so all the goodness is still in there.
Fresh fish from the supermarket can actually be up to 14 days old by the time it reaches the shelves.
So when Matt said it's time for frozen fish, what did you think? Because you have an issue about the flavour of frozen ingredients, don't you?
Yeah. I didn't want to judge it until it's cooked, to be honest with you.
We're using 400 grams of frozen collie, costing £1.90. The same amount fresh would cost £2.80. That's more than 45% more expensive.
Once the mixture has simmered for 20 minutes, add the fish pieces and then cook for a further 10 minutes. Then squeeze in 2 limes.
Are they fighting back? Is it a bit like arm wrestling with your dad, squeezing a lime?
Roughly chop the basil and coriander leaves, stir through the curry, and it's ready to serve.
Stir it through right at the end, just before it hits the table, keeping all that freshness in.
This filling fish curry came in at £4.74. That's just £1.19 per head, with 26p change from a fiver.
And it would also be even better for a second sitting. It's a perfect fridge or freezer food.
Oh. Kind of more than I expected.
All it needs now is a big plate with my name on it.
There's not going to be any leftovers.
No, there won't be.
That's Sean's verdict. What about the rest of the family?
You're going to dive into?
Very important.
That is absolutely delicious. Remy, did you make this?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
And the nice thing about these sort of dishes, you know, stews and curries and things like that, if you do make too much, which you tend to do, they get better with age in the fridge.
We want to make sure you get all the value from the food that you're buying so that you don't waste that £30 a week that you're currently chucking in the bin.
Sounds great.
Now, like a lot of us, the Harveys love to have a Friday night treat. So, Matt, what have you got in store for them to try and rival the £25 they normally spend on their Friday night takeaway?
Well, hopefully a Mexican fiesta of a feast is going to be so tasty the Harveys will lick their plates clean. There's lots of filling side dishes, and it's great for the kids as it's hands-on, fun to eat, and full of spicy flavours we know they love.
So pretty much everything's getting pulled these days, including chicken, all right? So we're going to cook this nice and slowly, and then basically break it up. And all pulled means is just to shred, just to break up.
Any leftover chicken after the meal is great to keep in the fridge and add to sandwiches, salads, wraps and pies.
There are more new Mexican restaurants opening than new hamburger bars.
Wow. And it's spicy as well, which is what we like.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very cool and trendy at the moment.
Into the food processor goes a chopped red onion, juice and the zest of an orange, 3 roughly chopped garlic cloves, and half a tin of chopped tomatoes, followed by oregano, thyme, and smoked paprika.
Right, lid on, split. So chicken in here.
For our pulled chicken, we're going to use the thigh. It's cheap and tasty, and bone-in thigh adds to the flavour.
And saves more money, Matt. Per kilo, filleted chicken thigh is more than double the price of bone-in, and breast is around 37p on top of that.
Plus, chicken breast would dry out in a slow-cooked dish like this. Before cooking, cover the chicken with wet baking paper or foil.
So there you go. So that will go in probably at about 140 degrees we'll check it after an hour. Okay?
Low and slow.
Easy. To finish off the meal, we're making a homemade salsa and refried beans. Kidney beans are an ideal way to bulk out a meal and a great low-cost store-cupboard staple. And 400 grams is perfect for a family of 4.
So there we go, a Mexican feast for all the family and plenty of ideas for cheap dishes that won't go to waste. All this came in at £4.74. That's just £1.19 a head. And with change from a £5, of course.
Right, guys, here's your Mexican feast. Tuck in.
Yay. Quite looking forward to polishing it all off, actually.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be much left over.
Which is your favourite of all of the things that you've eaten?
This.
That's delicious. I'll definitely be doing that again.
And what's lovely about those is that the children loved eating them, but also loved the idea of making them.
The most expensive thing was obviously the chicken with the salsa. That was £4.30. The refried beans came in at 44p.
That is ridiculously cheap.
Ridiculous.
So the total savings come to £31 a week, and over the course of the year, that adds up to a saving of £1,600.
Wow.
You also wanted inspiration for cooking up the food that you are chucking away, for saving on leftovers. And if you use the inspiration that Matt's given you, you could save an extra £1,500 a year to add to that, because that's how much food you're currently wasting. So in all, you could make a saving of more than £3,000.
Yes, well.
That is huge. I mean, £3,000 is a really good holiday.
Tummy's full, plates and bins empty, and money saved. That's the way we like it.
We kicked off the Harvey's meals with stuffed peppers and spaghetti and pesto.
Then we spiced things up with a fish curry.
And finally, we created a fantastic Friday night Mexican feast, and all for under a £5.
We're not going to be throwing stuff away again like this. You've really given both of us something to think about in terms of what we cook and how we cook it. We bought the freezer. I need to use it to my advantage. Yeah.
Think of the freezer door as a gateway to a holiday.
A portal, if you will.
It's a portal.